Welcome in, everyone, to episode 107 of Instigate Success, building an ABA franchise. I'm your host, as always, Jake Schoen, aka Jakey Muffins. Welcome to a special Halloween episode of the Instigate Success podcast, the official podcast of your Hoosier State Instigators. We are starting the season tomorrow, so we've got games tomorrow and Sunday. Obviously, tonight's Halloween, dressed up for Halloween. If you're familiar with the Ninth Gate, that is where this character originates from. Dean Corso, played by Johnny Depp. But anyways, so happy Halloween to everyone. I hope you have a great night and evening. Hopefully, get some good candy. But anyways, on to the instigators. So tomorrow kicks off our season 3 in the ABA, and we've got a double header weekend, a game Saturday and Sunday. We've been making the post for the rest of our assigned players. So we've seen that throughout this week and last week, wrapping up the rest of the roster. And we've had some other fun announcements throughout this week with jerseys. And we'll jump into kind of everything. We'll take a look at the ABA, how it is currently, some of the early games in the season, where other teams rank so far. I know a lot of other teams have already started their season and played a few games, but we are kicking ours off this weekend. So November 1st, tomorrow, is our first game, and that is going to be against the Missouri Capitals. So let's pull up our schedule. I know we've got the graphic there for that. So here is our schedule. So like I said, we got the opening weekend here. So November 1st and 2nd, we've got the doubleheader, Missouri Capitals, followed by the St. Louis Spirit. Um, so those are both road games. We had a road trip to start things off. Then we'll be at home next week um, against the Kings. Again, that's a team that we've played numerous times, and they've always been great games. Just are still looking for our first win, though, in those games. So definitely, we've got a good schedule ahead of us, and then we have the home game November 8th to start the season. That's again next week, and then we've got the following week another home game against the Louisville Pros, another team we're familiar with. So this weekend is a road trip, but it's also the first time we're going to be playing both of our opponents too. So it'll be an interesting weekend, and we should be able to get a gauge as far as where we kind of stand. A reminder: the schedule this year is a little bit different than we've seen in the past. So in the past, most of it was kind of just up to the teams, and you decide who you want to play, and that's more or less how it goes. Obviously, you're trying to pick teams within your division, region, and so on and so forth. And obviously, travel and logistic, it makes more sense to do that type of things. This year is a little different. It's still within that realm as far as the division and region, but there's also kind of some limitations, and maybe not limitations is the right word, but like some kind of guidelines for to follow. As far as the teams to play is more or less teams that finished similarly in your previous season with the rankings. So kind of goes off of that, and then it goes by that within each of your respective divisions. So you'll see a lot more teams, playing again what they consider more comparable ranking teams. So that is kind of what we see here as far as like other teams you'll see we play this year are a little bit different, and we play a lot of these teams multiple times. With that, again, a lot of it has to do with rankings from last season based off of the standings of their divisions. So we've got those two games on at our home venue. Again, that's Best Choice Fieldhouse for the second year. We are returning. It's our first time returning to a home venue, so we're definitely looking forward to that. And then we have the home series against the Kings and the Pros, and then we go on the road against both of those teams the following 2 weeks away from both of those. And then we've got the home and away series against the Shuckers. That's December 13th and 14th. We probably will have an event night that night, so a little bit of a teaser there. We'll have official details announced on that, hopefully in the near future. But if you are in the area, or even if you're not, I think that is a great game to kind of plan on making the trip out to. Obviously, all of our games I recommend to go out to. I'm here in Florida, but I'm still going to be there. Hopefully, I think for that November 8th game, I should be there. So the home opener, that 13th of December game, I'll definitely be out there. So definitely looking forward to both of those games. Um, but it's a cool series we're gonna have between the Shuckers. Um, we've got the home and away games. So Saturday we'll have the home game, and Sunday we'll go on the road against the Shuckers. And it's cool because it gets two games out of the way, but it's also a home and away with much less travel than most of the away games. But if you remember from previous seasons, the doubleheader weekends, like we have this upcoming weekend, the Saturday Sunday games, is a little bit better to kind of prepare ourselves for play-ins and playoffs. As we saw the first season, we didn't have any of those doubleheader weekends. The second season, obviously, we added more, or we added some. This third season, we're adding more. So that's what we've got, kind of in our ideas behind that, to prep ourselves better for the later games in the season and hopefully play-ins and playoffs. And then to wrap up the 2025 portion of the schedule, we got the Indiana Legends, another local team in the state of Indiana. So we'll just cover that for right now as far as um, the 2025 portion of the schedule, and we're going to take a look at. We're actually going to jump over to the website real quick, and then we'll jump over to the ABA website to take a look at power rankings and kind of the games that have already been played out. Um, and we'll take a look at that. So let's remove this. Then we're going to go over to the new Instigators website. So if you haven't already been on that website, our new website is up and running. So you guys can go over there. Let's jump over to that site here. All right, we're going to go over the roster. So we made the announcements on social media. If you haven't already seen that, you can also see it on our website too. So again, that new website is insigatorsbasketball.glide.page. You can go through the tabs here. We've got it on the team tab. We've got it by numerical order as far as the players and their jersey numbers. So we got Dame Wilburn, one of our returning players from last season, a guard that we've seen with some amazing ball handling and some great defense. Also got hot behind the arc a few times last season. So definitely looking forward to have Dame back on the roster. Then we've got Aaron Robinson, a new face for the Instigators, number 3 of forward and center. Um, and I don't remember if we've got the player profiles fully updated here. Um, Looks like we don't. But what you will see, and we'll jump into this a little bit too, each player, if you click on each of those players, you can buy their jerseys. So each player, you can click on them and then click on that and get their jersey there. But we'll jump back onto the jerseys in just a few minutes. We got Joseph Michael Cook, a guard, joining the Instigators for his first season with the team as well, number 5. So a couple of new guys there with Aaron and Joseph Michael. We got Greg Hardiman, who does not have a profile picture, but if you remember, he was a part of the Instigators last season as well, towards the end of the season. So another returning face, somebody who only got to play a few games with the Instigators and is kind of going to have a little bit more time with the team this season, obviously, and building off of what he had last season. So we're looking forward to have Greg back. Um, then I'm going to attempt to pronounce this. I'll have to ask him how to pronounce it in person. Once I get out to these games, um, but I'm gonna assume that's Kyrie Bell, number 12, a forward for the Instigators. Another new face on the team. Um, so that'll be another welcome addition, and hopefully we get some Player of the Weeks. We can have some fun with some graphics, like ring the bell and whatnot. So definitely looking forward to have number 12 Bell on the Instigators. We also got Naeem Johnson, number 15, a guard, joining the Instigators. Um, and so those are our two new guys on this page as far as the numbers go. And then we got the two returning guys here, Steve Rogers. Obviously we've already announced returning, and he kind of stepped up towards the end of the season last year. So really looking forward to seeing what he's got in store for the Instigators this upcoming year. And then Malcolm Martin returning as well, second team All ABA player, one of the team captains as well for the Instigators last season. So definitely glad to have all these guys on the roster for this year. Going down to the next line, same thing. We got two new guys and two returning players. So we got David Kelly, number 22. Um, and I'll have to double check. I thought there's no second E, but I'll double check that as far as the spelling goes. But number 22, David Kelly, a forward, joining the team as well for his first season with the Instigators. Definitely looking forward to having DK as part of the Instigators roster for this season. I think he may have had some time with the team throughout maybe some of the practices or something. I feel like I remember seeing him at some point, one way or another. Then we also got Tion Bigby joining the Instigators, number 27. And he is joining the Instigators for his first season. I do remember, I believe he was on the Lions a couple of seasons ago. So we are welcoming both of those guys to the Instigators for their first seasons with the team. We got LB and Levante coming back. Levante was he has a single game record for points scored. And then we got LB, who always provided a flash every time he pulled in off into the lineup with the Instigators. So two dynamic scorers, and also guys who can kind of get some rebounds there. Guard, technically both are listed as guards. LB slash forward, as well as saw last season Tay also play down low a little bit. But I think we might have enough some of the size that we are lacking from time to time to kind of put him more in his more natural position as a guard. Obviously, you've seen his shooting abilities with the game against the Aces last year. Then going down to the final line here, we got Nate Harris joining the Instigators, number 44. If you've seen the post we made, Nate was a member of the Slam Ball League. If you've seen that on ESPN a couple years back, he was a team captain and a first round pick, which is pretty amazing. Obviously, to see that, the Slam Ball League. A lot of us, myself, when I say this, when I say us, a lot of us who like the kind of non-traditional sports, that's one of the cooler leagues. I feel like the trampolines and the basketball, kind of more physical contact as well. So that's cool to have somebody from that league on our roster. And we also got Hayden Putt with the highest number jersey this season, number 57. Definitely not a common number, I feel like, for basketball jerseys. But he is the center. I think he's the only player listed. No, so him and Aaron. Aaron is listed as forward slash center, but Hayden, the only player listed strictly as a center. So that is our big man for this upcoming season. And if you guys were out at the trunk or treat this past weekend, we had the trunk or treat at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, IRP. the track that we had gone out prior to for the ARCA and NASCAR Truck Series weekend. We were out there again for Trunk or Treat. You might have seen T and Aiden out there this past weekend. So got some interactions with some fans, and that was a lot of fun. Some cool costumes we saw out there as well. We got the team picture right there as well. So all of the guys that showed up to that team picture, see right there, as well as Coach Dobbs returning as well in the picture. So it's your 2025, 2026 Hoosier State Instigators. Really looking forward to seeing what we've got in store for season three. Obviously, I think each year and every year, the thought and hope is to progress each and every year. So obviously, first season, going into second season, we made some improvements, especially earlier portion of the year. In the second year, kind of the opposite of what happened in year one versus year two. Year one, we really struggled in the first half of the season, kind of put things back in line towards the home stretch, but ultimately fell in the play-in tournament. And second season, we pretty much did the same thing end result-wise, with the play-in tournament being our final destination. But the start of the season started off hot. We actually got up to number 16 in the power rankings. So hopefully we can get a little bit higher than that this season. But then we kind of struggled a little bit with consistency down the line. But we are looking forward to season three. I think we've got a great team, a great roster. Obviously, we're confident having coach back again this season, and I think we can kind of build on some of that. Some of the positives from last season going into this season. Um, but let's go over and take a look at the jerseys. So if you click on the jersey links, this is where it'll jump you over to. So you can get your Instigators jerseys, and they are an affordable price. If you see that, it starts at $28 for each and every one of your favorite Instigators players. So can do that. And this is also the merch site as well. So you can see got some other items on here. You can also add those into your cart along with your jerseys. But $28 for a jersey, definitely, in my opinion, I feel like is a good deal. So we've got that for all of you fans that are looking for some jerseys. You could definitely order those and get them try to get those for the home opener. Again, that's next weekend. That's going to be next Saturday. Not September, wrong month, November 8th. That is against the Ohio Kings. So got the merch there, got the roster all announced, and let's jump over to the ABA site. Actually, let's see. I don't know. We might be able to pull this up. I didn't log into the Facebook, but I think we should still be able to see and pull up our trunk or treat video from this past weekend. Let's see if it shares or if it's going to try to make me sign in. Let's jump over there for a minute. All right. So we got that quick little video there. Some of the clips from this past weekend out at IRP for the trunk or treat. But lots of fun out there. Also got to test out the new camera, which was fun and definitely something I'll be continuing to using throughout the season. It's got some cool different filters. We'll test out those. It also does different layouts as far as the ratios and whatnot of the video that it's taking. So that's what we did for that. And then let's jump over to the ABA site and take a look at the power rankings first, and then we'll take a look at some of the games that have already been played. So power rankings down here, and these are the most current power rankings. So Chicago Fury still at the top there, 3-0. Silicon Valley Panthers, another team that we've seen consistently ranked at the top and returning in the top four of the teams when it comes down to the final four. So Fury, obviously defending champions for the last 2 seasons. Fury have not lost a game since 2 seasons ago. So a lot on the line for the Fury to stay at that number 1 ranking and undefeated. Austin Bats, I believe, finished the last season undefeated until playoffs, and they fell in the final four, if I'm not mistaken. They're number 3. Buffalo Extreme, another team that is consistently in the top end of these rankings. Binghamton Bulldogs as well. Those 2 teams are in the same division, though, so that is normally where one of the 2 get a loss. Nashville Aces are up to number 6. They started off with a big win against the Indiana Lions. So it's one of the games we'll kind of jump over to in just a few. But Aces up to number 6, a team that we played a few times in our couple of seasons so far. Skimming through here, you jump to number 11 is the Ohio Kings. Again, another team we've played a few times throughout our seasons. And the Kings are 2-0. They are also the team we're going to be playing next weekend for our home opener. So if we can get these our 2 road games as victories, we go against the Kings and we are able to pull off our first win. I definitely think that's going to be enough to jump us into these power rankings. That is my opinion on that, at least. But we also see at number 16 is the Indiana Legends. So that they're up there. They're tied for 16. That is the high mark we got to last season. So we'll have to see if they're able to surpass us on that, or if that's where they hold steady at. But 2-0 to start the season, win against the Shuckers in their opening game. And that is it's a team that we've seen improve year over year, just as we hope to do. So good start there for the Indiana Legends. Skimming through again, see the Windy City Inferno at number 19, another team that we are scheduled to play against this upcoming season. It'll be our first time playing them. Both of those games scheduled for 2026, but a home and away game, I believe, against the Windy City Inferno. And then I think that is it as far as the teams that we are scheduled to play against. I also want to give a shout out to the Florida Tropics. They are a new team. Obviously, I'm local here in Florida. But a new team, their very first season in the ABA, pretty cool stuff they do. If you look at their team, and obviously if you're familiar with semi-pro, you probably already have an idea of where this is going. But they're kind of themed after or similarly to the Flint Tropics in semi-pro. So cool thing, like for those of you that enjoyed that movie, I think the Tropics are kind of cool by following similarly to that. But yeah, just a random thought there. Let's jump over to the stats schedule page. So we'll take a look first at the kind of standings so far, and we could take a look over at points per game and whatnot, and then obviously look at the individual games there. So looking at the regions in the standings here, Got the Central region first. Obviously, that is our region. Um, and the Blue Division, they have not had many games played so far. It looks like Hessa Bucket might be a new team. I don't remember or recognize that name. It looks like they have a win with the Aviators with one loss. Cougars and Yellow Jackets still yet to play there. Then if we jump down into our region, which is, if you see, it's got the most teams by far. Um, in the red division. That was our original division that they moved us back into. So we are back at home in the red division. Nashville Aces, again, a top ranked team um, within the top 10 with 3 wins there. Indiana Legends and Kings both with 2-0 records to start. Um, Again, all those teams in the top 25 of rankings. So wins against those teams, I definitely think are going to come at a premium. Then we've got the Clarksville Phoenix at 1-1 with a split start to their season. The Indiana Alliance, a little bit of some struggles there. Obviously they had a little bit of some rearrangement behind the scenes and stuff with this off season. So they start the season with a 1-2 record. Then you see the Shuckers just under us. So obviously we still have not played a game yet. We're still 0-0. And then we got our games tomorrow to start off the season. Shuckers though, 0-2 to start the season. And then we've also got the Commerce also with 0-2 to start. Knoxville, that team I don't believe is on our schedule, but another new team as far as I know. And then the Louisville Pros with a loss to start off with their first game. Jump down to the Black Division, the division we were in last season. Fury 2-0, and as well as the Knights and the Inferno. Knights, I believe, were also in those top 25 power rankings. I may have just skipped over announcing that they were in there. And actually, let's see. Yeah, Chicago Knights are number 17. Then we got the Rebels and Frost with 0-2 to start off the season. Obviously, the Frost being the team that knocked us out of the play-ins last season. Then we jump down to the White Division. This is very, very interesting. I have not taken a look at this yet, but it looks like every single team in this division has lost all of their games. So that's interesting. Obviously, we'll have to take a look further at a couple of these teams. But 402 Elite with an 0-2 record. Capitals, who we play against tomorrow, with an 0-3 record. The Natives 0-1. Spirit, who we play on Sunday at 0-2. And then the Bulls with Polina Instigators and no games played so far this season. And then we jump down to the East region, and we see, obviously, we're going to have the colors as well as the divisions there. So taking a look at the Blue Division, Coyotes and Lightning, undefeated. Coyotes with 2 wins, Lightning with a 1-0 record. The Boston Green Sharks, no logo, but that's an interesting name. 1-2 to start the season. The Kings with a Z, 0-2. And then we get over to the oh, interesting. Didn't notice this says alpha and beta as well. Anyways, I don't think that's necessarily that important as far as alpha and beta conferences. But White Division, this is a pretty stacked division in the East region. Philly Thunder at 3-0 to start. The Buffalo Extreme, again, that's a top ranked team, top 5 team. 2-0, same as the Binghamton Bulldogs at 1-0. Syracuse Monarchs. Obviously I went to Syracuse. That is a cool name because obviously that's the old team in Syracuse. 1-1 to start the season. Philly Uptown 1-2. Rochester 1-3. Central PA Kings, the local team for me from where I'm from, at 0-1. Herkenmeyer OGs 0-1. Racers and Clutch still yet to play a game. In the Black Division, out in the East, got the Long Island Strong Arms leading the way at 2-0, Bridgeport Kings 0-2, Surge 0-1, Colts Rivermen and Lights yet to play a game. In the red, out in the East, you got the DC Crank, it's an interesting name as well, 1-0, 96ers, again, that's a cool name, 1-0, Delaware Dogs, 1-1. A couple of teams, few teams actually, yet to play a game. Carolina Kings, Senate, Prince George Valor, Ram Chargers, and SBC Elite Sports. That's a cool looking logo there, actually, for SBC. Um, anyways, then we got the Reidsville Reapers at 0-1. Jumping down south in the Black Division, we have the Circle City Pythons, as well as the Mississippi Silverbacks, 2-0. Silverbacks, a team we've seen in the playoffs a couple times in our past couple of seasons. Lafayette Ballers, 1-0. Tri-City, 1-0 as well. Gulf City Gladiators, 1-2. Gulfport Kings and the Kingdom Riders yet to play a game. Mississippi Delta Lucky Ducks, 0-1. Obviously, shout out to them. They are one of the cooler teams to follow on social media as well. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the Lucky Ducks throughout this. This is their first season, but their season here in the ABA. Cool team to follow along. Definitely give them a shout out and follow on social. Um, we got the Generals and Sea Turtles at 0-2. You got the Blue Division out in the South. And we got the Bats and the All Stars at 2-0. Red Storm Marshals both at 2-1. Chaos with Red Wolves Seraphim all at 1-1. Then we got the Lone Star Crusaders and Purple Kings. To wrap things up, Crusaders 0-1. Purple Kings yet to play a game. That is like your Texas region, it seems. Then you got the uh, Red Division in the South. You got a few teams there at the top, tied with 2-0 records. You got the Atlanta Defenders, Strike, and the Skyhawks. Then we got the Stonecrest Strong Streppers. Stonecrest Strong, yes, Steppers. Okay, that is the name. A little bit of a tongue twister there. 2-1. Atlanta Aliens at 1-1. A team that we have seen pretty consistently. I feel like ranked in the top 25 with a 1-1 start to their season. Georgia Grizzlies at 0-4, and then the Warriors at 0-4. Or Grizzlies, no, I have not played yet. Then we got the Tropics again. That's kind of that new team. We'll zoom in on that logo. See there, Florida Tropics. They are 3-0 with a clear lead in the White Division over the County Royals at 1-1. Out west, we got the Bull Snakes leading the way for just Division A, Alpha Conference Division A, 2-0. Then we've got the Fire and Monster Slayers looking for their first wins, as well as the Tucson Buckets. 0-2 for Fire, Monster Slayers 0-3, Buckets 0-1, and then San Carlos still looking to play their first game. In the Alpha Conference Division B, we've got a few teams undefeated so far. San Diego, Suns and Mob, 3-0 for Suns, 2-0 for Mob. Las Vegas with a 2-0 record. Got Guy Levy at 2-1. The Hounds at 1-1, and the Antelope Valley Bulls at 1-3. Kern County Mamba, pretty cool name there too. Still looking to play their first game. Southern California at 0-2, and the Lobos at 0-1. Then we've got another small division here with the San Jose teams. 2-0 for the Wolfpack, 0-3 for the Knights. And Then we've got the Silicon Valley Panthers leading the way here at 3-0 in their division. Delta Stars 2-1, and Golden Tigers 1-2. And that is your standings within all the teams that are within each of the respective divisions. Then we've got the teams at large. So these are kind of just like the fill-in teams, and you got the Atlanta Invaders, different than the Atlanta Aliens, Claremont Crocs, Fayetteville Sherman, Georgia Prime, North Florida Raiders, Reedsville Harvest, San Diego, another San Diego team, Geniuses. You got the Shizuoka Gym Rats, the Japanese team, and South Atlanta Crows. None of these teams yet have a win. Keep an eye on these though. And then let's jump over to the leading players for each of these categories. So Mook Bates with 54 points per game for the Central PA Kings. Definitely has got the lead so far in that. Um, so yeah, definitely has the lead in that by a good margin so far. Uh, let's see if there's any. Guessing that's the St. Louis Spirit with Robinson as well, with 40.5 points per game. Let's click on that just to make sure. That may be a player we're matching up. Yeah, St. Louis Spirit. So 49 points against the Ohio Kings. That is over half of his team's points. That's ridiculous. And 32 points against the Chicago Fury. So definitely somebody we'll have to keep an eye on. Number 5 for the Spirit in our matchup on Sunday. Going back, anyways, to those, we got assist per game. Cameron Moore leading the way with 13.7. Very impressive there. And skimming through, let's see anybody we've got in ours. We got Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell, a solid player we've seen every time we played against the Kings with solid 10 assists per game right now. He's already on our list as far as guys to watch. But just a reminder there for Kevin Mitchell. Rebounds per game. Pierre Walters destroying everybody so far with 22 rebounds per game. Uh, let's skim through anybody else we see. I think that's. I don't think any of these guys are guys that we're going to be facing off against that I can see. Steals per game, we got a few there tied for the lead. I think there's one alphabetical as far as who went up top. So Joseph Boykin, Shane DeRosa, Javon Evans, not Edwards, and DJ Little leading the way with 6 steals per game so far. And I think that's it as far as the things they got as far as the leaders in each of those. But let's jump over to schedules and scores. You can see us. We're right there at the top. Games coming up tomorrow, Saturday, November 1st. We got our first game. That's against the Missouri Capitals. But anyways, going over to schedule and scores. Let's jump over just to our division. We're in the red division, Central Region. And yeah, this is going to be in order of the games played so far. Clarksville Phoenix with a win over River Region. Generals butchered that. But yeah, River Region, a new team that as far as I know, Generals. But this was the game we were talking about a little bit earlier. That 36-point victory over the Lions by the Aces, I think really kind of catapulted them into those power rankings. Ohio Kings with a huge win there against the St. Louis Spirit, a team that we've got coming up this weekend. That's what, 88-point victory, almost 200 points scored by the Kings. We know the Kings are definitely a team capable of scoring and putting up big numbers. Interesting. Yeah, that is a Florida team. I was like, Lakeland is here. Lakeland is here. Okay, Lakeland played against Knoxville. Obviously, Knoxville, I think, kind of. They, I feel like they got added into this division kind of late, but I could be wrong. But anyways, yeah, they're more local to that stuff, I guess, to play against teams in Lakeland. I was gonna say we don't see the Instigators down here in Florida as much as I would love to, but anyways. We've got the other game there, the Legends with a 6 point victory over the Shuckers. We kind of hit on that a little bit earlier too, with the Legends having a couple of victories to start off the season, um, to get those victories and get themselves in the power rankings for the first time, as far as I remember, first time for them, and the highest I've seen them at 16, tied with us, obviously. And we got the Strike with a victory over the Phoenix. Pretty decisive 31 point victory there. Another loss there to start off the season for the Lions, 114 to 106. And then the Aces with a pretty big victory there, 147 115 over the Commerce. This is last weekend we're talking about. It looks like we had a forfeit in the game that was scheduled against the Aces by the South Atlanta Crows. So it looks like I would assume a victory there for the Aces on their record. And then the Lions got their first win against the Missouri Capitals with a 117-96 victory. And the Legends with another win, the 2-0 to start to the season, 115 over the Pros, 104. So let's take a look at the teams that we've got on the schedule for this weekend. So Missouri Capitals, and we do this. The Missouri Capitals have had 3 games so far, 3 losses at this point. Loss against the Houston Red Storm, 116 to 105. Uh, Midlothian Marshalls, 124 to 89. Then the Indiana Lions, 117 to 96. We'll take a look at that Lions game, see if they got any stats breakdowns here. It looks like they do. And it looks like the part of it might be a little bit of a short-handed roster for the Capitals. We might take a look at another game just to see if that is their full roster. It looks like they've only got 6 guys, which is definitely hard to play with only 6 players. Obviously, we can kind of relate to that with some of the games that we've seen in the past. But leading the way in scoring was Demetrius Brown, and then looks like rebounding, and their second scorer was Timmy Rawlings. We got that. Um, and then kind of skimming through with the Lions, just seeing we've got one former Instigators player, Mike Pugh, on that roster for this season. Well, let's jump back. I want to see if the game prior, or actually, we'll go to their first game. First game for the Capitals. No, it looks like they were just a little short-handed. I've got a few more players as well on that team. Um, so we'll have to see with that being a home game if they're able to get a little bit more of full roster for that. I think that's going to help them a little bit as well. But jumping back, we'll jump back over to the St. Louis Spirit game against the Ohio Kings. Actually, we'll just jump on the St. Louis Spirit in general. Take a look at their games, and then we'll look at that Kings matchup. So they've only got a couple of games there. A game against the Kings, 178 to 90, and then there is that 125 to 75 game against the Chicago Fury. So Kings, I feel like we're a little bit more familiar with, or I guess both of these teams we're familiar with. Um, but take a look at that. So Spirit, it looks like they were shorthanded in that game as well. 6 players on that roster. Mauritarian Robinson, 49 points. We've seen that a little bit earlier. Um, so we got that. And then double for Malik Travis, 15 rebounds for the center there. Then we take a look at the Kings. We played the Kings. See Kevin Mitchell though with a double double in rebounds and assists. So that's an impressive one. Um, but or, I don't know the name I said, but Kevin, yeah, Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell, guy that we have seen year after year with the Kings. And we jump back here. Let's take a look at that Chicago Fury matchup there too, just to see if they got a few more players. Yeah, they got way more players on the roster for that home game. So definitely expect to have more of a full roster in that matchup for them this upcoming one with a home game as well. So that's the two games we got, or two teams we play this weekend. The Spirit on Sunday and the Capitals tomorrow. So no, as far as everybody goes, thank you again for everyone who is a Patreon member. That is where you can watch our games live. But as you've seen kind of last season, more and more teams have started to decide to stream their own games. And when they do that, they have the right. It is their choice to kind of black us out as far as the market goes, stream it exclusively through them. So that is going to be the case for the games this weekend. So the Capitals, you can go and go on their website and check out their social media and whatnot. And that is how you'll be able to find the game for tomorrow. And I believe that's 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. in the local time, if I'm not mistaken, as far as the tip off. So again, that is going to be streamed on their side because of how that winds up going. We're not going to stream the same time as them. So that is where you'd go for that Missouri Capitals, and then we've got the St. Louis Spirit. They will also be doing the same thing. So go over to the St. Louis Spirit website, their social medias, and follow them for the game on Sunday. Let me see if we got the time on there. I know we've got the 2 o'clock here. Got a lot of scrolling here, or a lot of clicking. Obviously, got a ton of teams in the ABA. So actually, let's see if it just says. Yeah, this is the easier way. So Sunday looks like it's got it listed at noon. Um, but we'll see. I think that's kind of the placeholder text when you put in the game as far as the schedule. So have to double check if it's actually at noon because you can see there it's a placeholder for ours again is at noon the following week against the Kings. But that is not the case with our games, obviously being 7:30 at Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana, for all of our home games. So a little bit different than what it says there. But really, really looking forward to this getting season 3 started. I think 3 that is a huge step for all of us within the Instigators, and a lot of us, kind of have that. I don't know exactly the word for it, but a lot of us came from the. I guess maybe vindication is the word I'm looking for, but um, a lot of us came from that fan-controlled realm, and myself, Corey, both of us being most valuable fans. Uh, that's kind of where a lot of us met, branched off this idea, and we have the Hoosier State Instigators, as you know them now, a similarly, kind of a brainchild. I feel like having fans vote on the team name, logo, jerseys, color scheme, having the player evaluations. We had the fans man last season, obviously, not quite going with that again this season, but we definitely love to have the fans' inputs and kind of having that same idea of getting the fan the ownership experience. I guess that's a little bit different. So fan controlled was more fan voting. This is more or less we're trying to get the fan ownership experience. um, but season 3 is a huge step for us. When I say us, I think obviously I'm speaking is a collective, but I know for me especially, season 3 is huge. because of kind of what happened and how everything went with fan controlled. So obviously we had fan controlled football, 2 seasons with that being its own entity. They had the Screaming Eagles, which was prior to, and then they had the fan controlled football. Um, season one, season V 1.0, and then we had season two um, as well. But there was no season three, so for us to be able to jump into a season three, I think that just it's amazing. And really, when I say this, and I speak on behalf of all of us, we thank each and every one of our fans, sponsors, players, and each and every one of you who has supported us throughout the way and continues to support us. We really, really would not be at this point without all of your, um, all of your dedication, support, and continuation and believing in us to create this. Not only the instigators but the whole Apex Athletic Collective. And I think we've got some fun stuff in store for the upcoming year that we'll hopefully be making some announcements here in the near future. Um, but we're really looking forward to this. Obviously, again, like I said, season three is huge for us because that means that we're making it further than kind of our predecessors, even though it's not the same exact thing, but we branched out from that. So for us to be able to jump into a season three, once we take the tip tomorrow, we will officially, um, have started at least, more seasons than had been played in the fan controlled side of things. So I can't say thank you enough to each and every person who has helped us along the way and helped us get to the point where we are here. Um, but yeah, thank you to everybody for that. Really looking forward to this, getting things kicked off this weekend on the road, and then a reminder: we come and have our home opener the following weekend, so November 8th, Ohio Kings at the Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana. I plan on being there. Hopefully, I see you guys there. Uh, you can get your season tickets. I don't remember if the discount is still active at this point, but that's the only graphic I've got for the season tickets. Um, but get your season tickets regardless. We'll be there for each and all of the home games. Um, I'm in Daytona, and I have people quite literally this week. I had somebody asking me, they got family up in Indiana, asking when our season starts, and they'll be out to some of the games. So always love having people show up and show out to the games. Again, Best Choice Fieldhouse, Fishers, Indiana. Get yourself season tickets. Each and every ticket is a courtside seat, and we definitely encourage you to be loud and be proud of your Instigators fandom. We're looking for our very own Spike Lee, so that could be you. Anyways, I hope to see you guys at the home opener. Um, I think I got that the film shoot earlier in the day, and hopefully that should be wrapped up in time so I can see the whole game. If not, I'll show up whenever, but I'll definitely be out for that home opener against the Kings. But tomorrow, November 1st, first game of the season against the Missouri Capitals. November 2nd, Sunday, right after against the St. Louis Spirit. Hoping to start off the season. Hopefully, we can get a 2-0 start. Go into the week next week against the Kings and play a ranked matchup. We're able to start that with a 3-0 and get our first win against the Kings. Obviously, talking super optimistic here, but if that happens, I think we should definitely be able to solidify ourselves into the top 25 rankings. Um, but that's pretty much it. That's going to be it for tonight's episode. Thank you guys again, as always, for joining me for Instigate Success, building an ABA franchise. This was episode 107, special Halloween episode. Thank you again for everyone who joined us on Halloween night. I'm sure there's plenty of things you guys could have been doing, whether it's trick or treating or going to parties and whatnot. But thank you, everyone who tuned in. And if you're catching this late, I hope you had a great Halloween. Hope you had a cool costume as well. Um, but the costume to wear next weekend is your Instigators gear and be an Instigators fan at Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana for the home opener. You want to show up and have that full crowd, full house for that home opener. Um, so again, looking forward to that. Really looking forward to getting season 3 underway. I think things are going to really kick off and really excited. Thank you again for everyone for joining us for tonight's episode. Until next time, as always, be great and instigate.